Okay, and you want to leave it kind of brush strokey. It's those brush strokes that give it its character. All right, now. Okay, now we're going to work on our snow. We got to get this snow underpainted before we end the program today because it has to be nice and dry, and in order to get the right values on top of it next time we meet. So let me kind of quickly run over here to this other painting and show you what we're going to do. Now look at the base here with the snow and see this purplish underpainting color. You know, not the white areas that you see, but these blue or gray areas. That's what we're going to mix. We're going to paint the whole foreground in the other painting with that sort of a bluish purple. And that'll be our underpainting for the snow. So now we'll take our palette knife. We'll take some gesso. Now we'll work right in the same area here. And a little bit of purple, a little bit of burnt sienna, and a little bit of blue. Just kind of mix all this together here. Now you can have almost any color you want to with snow. Anything you're painting that's white, by the way, I don't care if it's a curtain or a dress or a shirt or a tablecloth or whatever, you always want to have some sort of a grayish underpainting. It could be any color gray, but something kind of like this. Let's see if that's going to work up here. Yeah, that's probably pretty close. I'm going to put a little red in it. I like that warmer hue. Okay, now once that's all mixed, this next step's pretty easy. There's no way you can mess this next step up. I'll tell you, it's been really a lot of fun over the years to meet so many of you from all around the world. And some of you have been coming up to my studio and painting with me. And all of these techniques are really starting to pay off. I've noticed so many of you are really improving with your work. Now, all you want to do is take this color and you just kind of apply it here with your number 10 bristle brush. You just kind of blend this right on in here. See, it's kind of got a nice purple tint to it. That's what you want there. Work it right up in between here. Now you can make it a little lighter if you want to, but you don't mix it down there. You just pick up just out of your jar, and so you just come up and add it right on here. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to just add this a little bit lighter. I'm kind of mixing it as I go and kind of blending it right up into the mountains there. Just so. Yeah, this will be exciting. Can't wait till next week when we can start putting some of the details in and get our sky finished. You guys are going to love this painting. This is a great challenge, a wonderful learning experience. There's so many great things in here to understand about painting, underpainting. Okay, now once we get this in here, there we go, and we're cooking. Now this is going to be sort of a warm snow scene. You know, you can have a cooler one, but this one's going to be kind of warm. Run over to this side and finish it up. I know I'm moving a little fast here, but I'm going to get all of this underpainted here. See how I'm kind of feathering up into the mountains so that there's no hard edge, and it will then look like when you're finished putting the highlights on that the snow is drifting up in there later. Okay, now we got it. Work this in over here. Now, we got that kind of taken care of. Our sky up here is still just a little bit damp, so we're not going to mess too much with it. We can go ahead and start putting in some of the highlights on these very back pieces if we want to. So we'll do that here in just a second since we have enough time to do it. But first we're going to put a little hazy mist right in the background. See this little area right here? Now we've already left it kind of misty, but now we're going to actually add some mist. So you're going to take your brush here, wipe it out, we'll get that excess paint out of there from the underpainting of the snow. Now you just take a little bit of white and a little bit of blue. This is kind of a bluish mist. A little bit of purple won't hurt. But it's the ultramarine blue, by the way. And I'll be real specific when I talk about whether you're going to use the phthalo blue or the ultramarine most of the time. I might forget, but you can remember this. Most of the ultramarine is what we use for the rest of this painting. The cerulean, the phthalo we use up there. Now, you have this color on your brush. See, this is why these brushes get rounded. See how rounded they become? No, this is not a filbert. You know, a filbert is a brush you can actually buy from the art store that's already pre-rounded. I've always wondered why we do that when we're going to round them off anyway by scrubbing. See how we scrub? Go in a circular motion. This is called dry brush glazing, where you roll this in a circle, and you see how that's creating a little mist coming across here? Well, you want this nice hazy mist back here. And this softens these mountains and kind of sets them back just a little bit. And we may do some more of this before it's all over, but this is where you have to start. You can hear that scrubbing sound, but this really, and we only go to these two layers. See, this is the other layer that's in front, so we don't want to glaze it out too much. Okay, now, well, as usual, folks, we're going to be running out of time here, but what I'm going to do now is take my number 4 bristle brush, a little bit of gesso, a little bit of orange. So we'll create a real soft, light, kind of a peachy color. See this little peachy color right there? Let's come up here. Now, you can play with this at home between now and our next session if you want to, but you can start laying on a little bit of highlight right on the edges of these, just like this. And see, this will start defining the edges of our mountains and making them look a little bit more three-dimensional. See how that works there like that? See, these are vertical strokes. Now you're going to find out why we use the underpainting sort of dark, because we let that come through, and see that creates a little cracks and crevices that are in there, okay? So this is pretty exciting. Okay, well, folks, I'm going to have to close up here. So try to get as much of this done if you're working on this paint between now and our next session. Keep the cards and letters coming. God bless you. Stay inspired, and I promise I'm going to see you again real soon on another Yarnell School of Fine Art. Hi, welcome back to the Yarnell School of Fine Art. Boy, I'm really glad you could join me today. We're on our second session for this particular painting, and we have really had a good time up until now. We're going to move on with it. However, I want to just thank all of you from all over the world for all the wonderful cards, letters, phone calls, emails we get. We really love to hear from you folks, because that really helps us know what you're interested in us doing on these shows. So please keep those cards and letters coming in, and we'll do everything we can to help you. That's our job. You know, if you need information, we'll help you as much as we can. Now, remember, we left off last week. I was up here finishing this painting. This is the Sedona, Arizona painting, and we were highlighting these mountains right here. Let's go over to the finished painting here. This is the big, large version. We've shrunk it down to an 18 by 24. This is my reference material that I was using. Here's the photograph of the canyons. And then here's the photograph I took off the deck of my studio. Some of you have been there that are watching the show, and you've painted with me and taken lessons from me, and you have seen these kind of skies. We have beautiful skies because we live in Oklahoma where we have a lot of storms. But we have beautiful sunsets, several times, sometimes a week, and just beautiful there. So I just put the two together and decided to make a painting out of it, and this is what's called a composite. It's a marvelous way to learn to really be creative and use your license to do things that are really unique. All right, now, we got to get back to our sky quickly, because we want to make sure we can get everything in here. That's nice and dry now. Let's go back over here to the original. I'm going to refer to this painting several times, so you'll just have to get used to me bouncing back and forth. But see all these dark gray areas that come up here and overlap the mountains right here? Well, that's what we're going to lay in first. And we'll probably spend most of our session today on just the sky and maybe a little bit of the highlighting on the mountains. So let's get on and get to it. Now, this little pile of paint is what we had left over from our last session.